So, let us have a look at the soil composition. Soil consists of mineral particles, organic matters, and space of pores for air and water. And this diagram gives us the detail about the soil composition. Here we have mineral, that is 45% of the soil. Mineral, different minerals. Here we have water, that is 25% of the soil composition. And air, that is 25% of the soil composition. And also we have the organic matter. The organic matter is 5% of the soil composition. Okay. When the soil dries up, the water is reduced. 25% is reduced to almost very low level. What happens to the soil? It shrinks and becomes barren with no life, no plants at all, because there is no enough water. The water remaining there is very little, stick to the soil particles so that the plants cannot get it, cannot absorb it. So the soil becomes dead, barren. Okay, what happens to the soil when it receives water? See, this is a dead soil with cracks. Before rain, dry soil is barren or still is barren or still. Because at this condition, soil structure consists of particles packed in layers one over another in a motionless situation. Okay? This is what we get from knowledge, from science. So, they are packed in layers one over another in a motionless what situation? No movement at this point in the soil. This refers to وَتَرَى الْأَرْضَ هَامِدَةً. You see the land what is still, with no motion at all. Okay. What happens when the soil receives water or when it rains? When raindrops fall, particles move, the soil agitates. Soil agitates, move. Now life starts to come to this land through raindrops. Physical action. By the raindrops, the soil agitates when raindrops fall on it. The movement of the water particles in the soil causes agitation in the soil too. Remember that the soil composition is mineral, mineral, water, air, and organic matter. When the soil becomes dry and dead, no water in the pores of the soil. When the water enters inside the soil, the water fills the pores. Some of the water in the pores is absorbed by the soil particles. So what happens to the soil at this point? It swells. It swells. It becomes larger and larger and larger. فإذا أنزلنا عليها الماء اهتزت, agitates, وربت, and swells. And this is well established in the book, in the book of physiology, in the books of physiology, in the books of soil. It's well established. Agitates and swells. Okay? This agitation and the swelling of the soil, of course, was not known in the past. Of course, especially at the time of the Quran, at the time of the revelation of the Quran, at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, this information was not known, because it was really impossible for people to watch the soil agitating and swelling. It's only through microscopes and sophisticated instruments. No one can detect such action inside the soil. Agitation of soil was not known until 1827. Until 1827 AD. This is the first time to talk about the agitation of the soil when it rains or when it receives the water. When a Scotch botanist, Robert Brown, discovered the movement of particles in the water medium. This is the first person who discovers such thing, and it's 1827 AD. Okay? Okay, so we talked about agitation. Now we would like to give you more information about how the soil is swelled, okay, and becomes larger and larger. You see, these are different layers of the soil, different layers of minerals. In between, there is a place for water. When water enters this place, okay, it swells and becomes larger and larger and larger. And this picture is from a book of science. Okay. فإذا أنزلنا عليها الماء اهتزت وربت. It was well established that by science that soil, dry soil, dead soil agitates and swells when it receives water. Who taught the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam this fact before its discovery by science? The Almighty Allah. سنريهم آياتنا في الآفاق وفي أنفسهم حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق أولم يكفي بربك أنه على كل شيء شهيد. We will show them our signs in the horizons and among themselves until it becomes true to them that it is the truth. Is it sufficient that your Lord is the all-knower of everything, or the witness of everything? So, this is one miracle mentioned in the Holy Quran about soil, about dead land, barren land, and water.